So guys, dev server is closed. Yes, after almost a week, basically, right? We have the dev server being closed, and yeah, what does that mean? So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about it. First of all, guys, we need to talk about that. There were some bugs and some things that were not fixed yet, right? The example of the Annabelle Raider, I think it's called, right? The Sump T Raider, which was something that it was getting readier and readier, but I don't think it was properly working. The Buck Raider was kind of weird. We had some, like, kind of overall readiness of the update, but there were some things that were not ready yet, right? Which is something that it makes sense, right? I mean, they don't need to fix every single thing while the dev is open, because of course they will, for example, today probably work on these, Monday next week and everything, and we'll probably see the update coming next week with everything working, right? But there is the possibility that we might actually see the dev server reopening next week. I mean, that happened on November last year, right? Where basically the whole update took a little bit more than it usually takes around that update time, right? It doesn't mean that it was delayed or anything like that, but it took a little bit more time on the dev server for them to fix everything. At least it was what we thought about that, right? So we might actually see that. So yeah, dev server is closed with some bugs, but it's nothing like major, I don't think. I was checking out what people were saying about the bugs and everything. There are a couple of things that need to be fixed, but it's nothing too big. Okay, it's nothing too big. So with that in mind, when do I think the update is going to be released? Well, that's the thing, guys. It's kind of hard to predict because of that update that we had last year. Because we had basically like a whole 2 weeks of dev servers, right? Or even more, I don't remember exactly, but it was a long time with dev servers. And we had like the patch being released very close to the end of the year, even on the regards of starting the next update, right? So it was kind of a different one. But in a general sense, normally, if everything is according to their plans, we will probably see the update on the 16th, okay? I would imagine. This is my guess, of course. I can be completely wrong. But I think on the 16th we will see the update. If they actually decide to open the dev server again, I mean, maybe even today, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. Tomorrow probably not, right? But like on Monday or something. Then we will probably have 3 or 4 days of dev server again, and then the update would probably come on the 23rd. Okay, so I would assume 16th or 23rd. Of course, it can be pushed a little bit forward as well, like 17th, 18th max. But normally we don't see on Mondays. Normally we don't see on a Friday. We'll probably see it between Tuesday and Thursday next week. Or if we see the dev server reopening from 23rd to the 25th, okay? So I think it's great that they are normally taking more time with the dev server open. I still have 2 things to complain about the dev server, if I must. One of them is, I still believe, I don't know if it's possible, maybe it's not, I don't know, like, maybe it's a programming thing, I have no idea, but I honestly believe, guys, that every single dev server should be open for everybody on the terms of grind, right? So everything should be, at least the new stuff, on the very least the new stuff, right? It needs to be just researched, right? Because it doesn't make sense. We are trying to, show everything. We're trying to test everything. And not everybody has the chance of doing that because they need to grind a certain vehicle, right? And sometimes it's a tech tree that you didn't get unlocked or anything like that, right? You didn't grind it, so it's a little bit more problematic. I always try to bring almost everything on the dev server for you guys just because of that, especially. I know I post a lot of videos and stuff, but that's the objective, to show for each and every one of you trying, to show everything that is being added, that I can actually test, because I am a content creator, so I have this ability to test everything in an easier manner, right? So I just wish they could, do it all. I, for example, would be able even to do more tests doing that because I would have more friends that I can test with, right? So, yeah, it's something that I would complain, right? And the second thing is always take more time on the dev server. I think a lot of the bugs, and especially when new missiles are coming, technologies that are a little bit different, stuff like that, you know, mechanics and stuff, they normally do change the inner bits of the game sometimes in a certain parts of the game. So the longer they take in a dev server, the longer we have to test it out and report the bugs so that they can actually fix when the actual live server happens. So for example, if I'm not mistaken, last patch, I don't know if it was exactly last patch, but one of the last patches that we had, there was a big problem on the game because of that, right? So I just hope, I think it was because of the missiles, right? Remember, the missiles were not working. So the more we test the game, the less likely those type of thing happens, right? So I'm actually glad if they, for example, push the update a little bit and give us a whole new week of dev server to test everything and fix everything, right? So, yeah, I don't expect, honestly, I don't expect the dev server reopening, but I could be wrong. So you tell me in the comments what you thought about the dev server. Do you think it's going to be reopened? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, see you guys on the patch, basically, right? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see ya.